And gentlemen, it looks like we are live. Welcome back to another edition of Mine Your Biz Live. We also call it the Mining Market Signal, several names for this show, where we pretty much just cover the markets. So without further ado, let's take a look at the Fear and Greed Index, currently a score of 21, just so you're aware. Before long, your chat will be on screen, so try to be on your best behavior. This episode is sponsored by the Mine Your Biz phone. You can see it down below, phone.myb.lol. And yes, here, what do we do here? Proof of live. Coyote says, awesome, what's up? And Sam, of course, always throwing up the peace sign, as well as Chaz, considering turning off notifications. Guys, appreciate you being here with me live. Definitely appreciate you taking a look at these markets. Fear and Greed Index of 21. What does that really mean? It just means that people are fearful right now. We're living in extreme fear. Any score below 25 is, they call it extreme fear. What does that really mean, though? It just means that people are reacting to news, right? They're reacting to what they see. They're reacting to what they see on TV, what they are reading on Twitter, what they're seeing on Reddit, their favorite commentators on TV. Whatever it is they're taking a look at, it's causing fear. William Day is in the chat, says, good morning, guys. Hey, thanks for being here with us, William. Appreciate you hanging out for just a minute over on mineyour.biz or on the Mine Your Biz live stream. So we're going to go over maybe, in my estimation, what could be causing this fear. Take a look at some news items. We're also going to take a look at a 360-degree view of the markets, both proof of work coins that we can mine at home with GPUs, with CPUs, with ASICs, with hard drives, every kind of computer equipment that you could use to mine cryptocurrencies, as well as some proof of stake cryptocurrencies, and then some other like moonshot gems and things, just stuff that we already have in a portfolio that we intermittently take a look at. Latrell is in the chat saying, good day, do it live. Yeah, right? So that's what we're going to do today. Jump back out, guys. Just as a reminder, I'm going to red screen you before we jump into any of our content for the day. Slightly longer live stream. This is how I like to live stream. Very interactive. If you got questions, obviously, just ask the questions. If you got answers, community members, please do try to be the mentor you wish you had when you started on your cryptocurrency and blockchain journey or Bitcoin journey, and answer those questions that you see in the chat, right? Like, that's being a good citizen. It's being a good member of a community. So please do be that person. So before I do that, though, gotta remind you that even if you see answers to your questions, or even if you have great answers, that none of this is meant to be financial advice. If you need the help of a professional like a CPA or some other investing professional or somebody to manage a fund for you, then you need to go and pay those people their established rate and get in writing that they will help you when the going gets tough. So that's a very different thing. We're just going through some stuff that I feel very strongly about for education and entertainment purposes. However, we have been tracking this information for a very long time, so it may help educate you in making better decisions when you do talk to those professionals and as you do your own research. So just need to frame that, guys. It's part of the game. Thanks for playing along. Appreciate it. So jumping back into markets, current score of 21. People are very fearful, but why? It's always a big question. Let's take a look at our chart here on tradingview.com, and I'm refreshing this live, guys. We're continuing in this $30,000 to $40,000 range. I'm going to zoom way out and just show you that that's the range that I've been saying I'm very comfortable doing a dollar cost average in for a while. Is that advice? No, not at all. That's just my strategy. I'm comfortable dollar cost averaging in this range and have been since the bull run started. The yellow range here, I'm a little less comfortable dollar cost averaging into. We're now crabbing sideways, right? We're finding good support in the mid 30,000s, right? At that $37,000 range. Keeps on bouncing off of 37K. So clearly there's some kind of support there, right? But we're also finding some resistance popping too high up into that next range. So Bitcoin doesn't seem to want to relent. We'll see if we do flip bullish again on that moving average convergence divergence, the one indicator we have on screen there. But the frequency of this is getting lower and lower. So this is kind of like leveling out to find some very solid support. What that means, guys, I can't pretend to know. I don't do technical analysis, and I don't offer that on the show right now. Maybe you have a better guess. Maybe I'll tune into some of our TA friends like Crypto Wendio and others, or Tom Crown and others, and pay attention to what it is that they're publishing on their charts for Bitcoin. Maybe I bring some of that back the next time we live stream. But for right now, I don't know what that indicates for a move up or a move down, but I do know that it will either move up or down. It won't move sideways indefinitely. Certainly on the last bear market, when we thought, oh my gosh, it's $6,400. Bitcoin is the new stable coin. That was our joke, right? And then all of a sudden it got chopped in half. We were in the mid $3,000 range for Bitcoin for a time. Markets got very depressed, right? Investor sentiment got very, very bearish. People got very worried, right? Huge fear in the markets. And then we shot up past $20,000, past $30,000. Fast forward to today, where this is the new normal at 10x what it was during that bear market. So it could be that we see something along those lines, right? Where it's like, all right, we're getting really comfortable here after crabbing sideways for a while in this range. We see it chopped in half, which would roughly equate to what I've said before is possible, $15,000, $15,000 or $17,000 ish around there. And then potentially from there, yeah, rocket ship back up. Man, I don't know, but I can't pretend to know. But everybody who's like putting fractals on top of this stuff and telling you that it's definitely going to do something, I don't know about that either, right? I don't want to make it sound like this stuff is predetermined. We only know what's happened. We don't know necessarily what's going to happen. So just keep that obviously properly framed as well. But yeah, this is our chart. Just lock that in by saving that over on TradingView. So that's a public chart. Anyone can take a look at it. But again, do so with a grain of salt. If you know better at technical analysis, then do your own research there. Over here on insights.brains.com, this is a really great website for just being able to set up your own projections for Bitcoin mining. While we're on the topic of Bitcoin, currently in order to break even on your electricity for just an Antminer S9, the most ubiquitous, the most common ASIC miner for Bitcoin mining, you need 8-cent power or 8.5-cent power roughly. Not impossible, but a lot more difficult to do. And we're going to see that profits on Bitcoin mining clearly have gone up, while profits on GPU mining have gone down a little bit. We're seeing a little bit of a flippening between those two as there's a flight to more stable proof of work mined coins like Bitcoin. This tends to happen when the sentiment moves like this, as people start to get more risk averse. Appreciate you guys tuning in. By the way, I see we do have several lurkers on today's live stream. Do hit that thumbs up. Do make sure that you are subscribed. Do make sure that you click the bell icon so you know when we go live with new media. We got a lot of new Gem Hunter content coming out. We also have some additional how-tos coming out. I want to go over, so I published a short video the other day about leaving DuckDuckGo and moving on to a different search provider, because I want to prioritize freedom and uncensorability over some of the other aspects of search. And right now, DuckDuckGo has started adding, they started deleting results from their search page, their search results page, and started to curate the content more heavily in order to fight what they label as disinformation. And you know, that's their corporate prerogative, but I'm just not going to stand for it. I'm not going to use their product anymore. Apparently, Mozilla and Firefox are opting to do similar things in terms of some of their search results as well. Not a big fan of that either. I don't really support Mozilla as a corporation. Firefox as a code base, fine. But I feel the same way a little about Brave and some of the Chromium code base that they've been able to modify and improve, which is now open source. There are other groups that can grab the source code and they can go make something that's just as valuable, if not more so. And we as consumers can choose to use something else. That's kind of the bottom line. But with DuckDuckGo making a change there, there'll be an upcoming video that I show you how to make that change, and possibly even an alternative that we can all use together. So stay tuned. You got to have notifications turned on if you want to see that. So make sure those are turned on, guys and gals. All right, back to Brains. This is the Brains OS website, and they've got for that Antminer S9, 8.5 cents power. Let's go ahead and just type in manually the rough numbers for an Antminer S19 J Pro. So we'll call that 3350 watts. And it looks like you only need 23-cent power to be profitable on that top of the line Antminer model. So as we see the market kind of dip, as we see profits for GPU mining kind of not fall off a cliff, but continue to crab sideways on a somewhat downward trajectory, I think we're going to continue to see this. Some of the most efficient ASIC mining systems, some of the most efficient Bitcoin mining ASICs are going to improve their outlook for a little while. I've been saying for months that I don't think you should be buying new GPU mining hardware. But anyway, all of this is tied into the current market sentiment. It's all connected, right? These prices, these markets, plus the cost to control the means of production for Bitcoin. There's only 2 million Bitcoin left to mine, by the way. And so it will be something of a fierce fight to get access to the last 2 million Bitcoin as they're being mined. A significant portion of that, or a non-zero portion of that, will be emitted very slowly over the next roughly 120 years if it continues as a network to exist that long. But the point is, there's not that many more Bitcoin left to mine. Most people think that Bitcoin mining is the most profitable thing ever. Well, it's profitable enough. That's just it. But when you zoom out, there's not a whole lot of Bitcoin left to be able to acquire that way. It's going to become increasingly scarce. We're going to see increasing measures in places like Kazakhstan that are cracking down on illegal operations or unlicensed operations, and that may affect you and your market as well. So just be aware of that moving forward. You might hear me talking about ASIC mining just a little bit more than I usually do. Do I love ASICs? No, I don't. I think they're a centralizing force, except in the case of Bitcoin. It's got so much hash rate that ASICs are a reality. It's just how it's just how it's going to be moving forward. So can't fight that trend. Can maybe help decentralize a little bit, but we can't get rid of ASICs at this point. It's just a reality for Bitcoin mining. But do leave your questions for me in the chat, guys, as we move forward in this content. But here's some other stuff that is affecting the market sentiment right now. Ethereum gas fees are cheap again. This is over on Crypto Briefing, and I will be adding links to this in the description of this video after we go live today. Those will always be available for you. They're just not available during our live stream at the moment. But apparently, it's dipped by 94% since January. It could be that there's less demand for block space, and it looks like they claim when the median cost of using the Ethereum network reaches record lows, the price of Ethereum often increases. So this could be the signal of a market recovery. And it could be, again, looking at the chart from before, that we may see another dip downward and then a bounce off of resistance for Bitcoin. Or we just find that Bitcoin seeks new support down lower for a while and crab sideways before we see that return, that recovery. Whatever that looks like. And it could be that there's a very similar movement in the works for Ethereum. That said, the proof of stake beacon merge is around the corner. They talk about accelerating that. I don't think it's quite time yet. Michael Carter from Bitsby Trippin mentioned on a tweet not long ago that after the 11-hour Polygon network outage, that it was just kind of a stark reminder that a lot of the proof of stake networks are not totally ready. And I have to agree, guys. You hear me talk very positively about Matic, about Polygon, but problems are problems, and we don't do anybody in this space any favors by ignoring those problems. And that was a huge problem, right? To see that there was a little bit of an issue with the Tendermint consensus protocol of Polygon network, and to see that it had an outage of 11 hours, that was a problem for a lot of people, me included, right? I have some assets on the Polygon network, not all of my holdings, but enough that I was sweating a little bit, right? Just kind of worried, what will the fallout be? When will we have uptime? Do I need to reposition some of my liquidity pools or some of my other holdings on Polygon? Do I need to exit from that chain? Is there something I need to do to right size my portfolio? And have me a little bit concerned. So I think that he's totally right in pointing out that proof of stake is not perfect, and we're seeing outages across layer ones that are proof of stake far more often than we see outages on proof of work chains or even contentious hard forks or whatever. People who say that there's a risk, right, with proof of work because you could always hard fork if there are too many miners that decide to change which network they want to mine to. It's not that simple, right? You do need to get a majority of the mining hash rate oriented towards a different fork, and that is not as simple as people just accidentally mining the wrong thing. All right, guys, appreciate you sharing this link while we are live so we have more people to interact with in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of lurkers if the concurrent viewer count is to be believed. So appreciate you sharing that link. Appreciate you being very vocal, asking questions on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Guys, weather's fine, and it's just a great day to be alive. Want to mention also, as we jump into the content, that I will be in LA later on this month. Just so you know, I'll let you know the more details about that as we near that time. And then going to be running a proper giveaway. I started it over on crypto Twitter, going to be running a proper Gleam campaign for the giveaway of a VPN router. Yeah, we crossed 15,000 subscribers a while back, and I intended to do something kind of nice, kind of big for the channel. I chose not to go with a Raspberry Pi topper this time. We did that for 10,000. This time I think I'm going to give away something really nice, and that is a VPN router, so look for that. I may be adding that to the description of this video as well. You know what? Through the power of editing, voila, look, it's at the very top of our description, the Gleam campaign entry. So if you're interested in being entered for a chance to win, go check that out and share that as much as you can. That will go not just to somebody who's drawn at random, it will go to a top promoter. So I'm asking you to please share that link and try to get people subscribed to this channel. So appreciate your support with that. All right, guys, back into this content. Gas fees are low. We'll take a look at that over on TX Street as well in just a minute. Samsung and Qualcomm are going to back Freedom Fi, which is Helium's 5G crypto network partner. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I know that Samsung usually, their involvement in the crypto scene, it's kind of a mixed bag. It doesn't necessarily pump markets. It doesn't necessarily dump markets. They're not a market maker is what I'm saying. Samsung is a chip manufacturer, right? They do a lot of semiconductor work here in the United States. They make some really great intellectual property. They have some really great silicon designs in the Exynos line of ARM processors that they have in their mobile devices, their phones, their tablets, even some of their TVs and other smart devices like refrigerators and washers and dryers and stuff that, you know, everything has to have a little general purpose processor in it these days, it seems. But Samsung makes a lot of these, and Qualcomm, of course, they're in everything, right? They up till recently, they were in even quite a few, I think, in a couple of Apple devices. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that they were in some of the Apple devices. Now that I'm thinking about it, it could be that Apple has designed all their own silicon for the iPhone for a while. But the point is, Qualcomm is in everything else that Samsung is not placing their ARM processors in. They're everywhere, but especially in the mobile space, right? So a 5G crypto network partner to Helium, that's interesting to me. Personally, I've got mixed feelings about IoT blockchain in general. It's not my favorite thing. I don't like the proliferation of IoT devices. I don't like the proliferation of spying devices in people's homes. I generally tend to have covers on all of my webcams. In fact, I'm shooting this on a Razer Kio Pro, which has its own like custom webcam cover here so that I can cover things up and not worry too much about being spied on by my electronics in the unlikely event that somebody is taking control of them. But Internet of Things, we're inviting that. We're saying, we're voting with our dollars and saying, I want my devices to talk to each other. I want to be spied on. It's kind of a weird thing to me. It really is. This is voluntary. I'm live streaming to you voluntarily. When I'm not actively doing this, I don't want this webcam. I don't want to question whether or not this webcam is turned on. I don't want to question whether or not my other appliances, like my refrigerator and clothes washer, are spying on me. That's just a weird thing to have to worry about. And I think that some of the IoT value proposition is that all this stuff will talk to each other, for better or for worse, about anything, whether we want them to or not. Like, it's kind of a problem. I don't really like the direction that it's going, including smart TVs, right? So-called smart TVs. I resisted getting a smart TV panel for as long as I could. I preferred the dumb panels that didn't have any added functionality. Just buy a third party, like even an Apple TV or a Roku to plug in, and I'm a much bigger fan of that. You can keep those secure by just unplugging them. It's that simple. You just turn them off. Right? They can be unplugged and powered down if you really were worried about that. But smart TVs are designed to be plugged in all the time with little, cameras and microphones and the microphone remote and all that. Like, I really have not wanted this to be the direction that humanity chose to go. But, here we are, whatever, at any given point, two to 3 weeks away from Skynet taking over because of all this stuff that's in our living space that can spy on us and eventually just, turn on humanity. I know that escalated very quickly. I know. But the point is, I would much rather that it be the other way. We can still turn technology into a useful servant to humanity instead of the other way around, us just serving tech because we're so attached to it and we have to use it for every single thing and we're reliant on it for every single thing all the time. But anyway, Daniel Beeston is just hanging out. Appreciate that. Lala is asking, hey, a word on ETH 2.0, when? Yeah, it's a good question. Not sure when. Not sure when to expect to see that happen. I do know that the Beacon merge, in my mind, I don't think it's going to turn out as well as the Ethereum core devs hope. I think that there have been plenty of proof of stake chains that are now proving that. Most recently, it's been Polygon, Matic. With that downtime, I think that's been very problematic. And I think that the Ethereum core developers would be wise to take caution right now. It is a cautionary tale, seeing Solana get beat down, seeing Avalanche get beat down, seeing Polygon get beat down. None of them are immune. And now, of course, seeing Cardano with all the mess that they've had the entire time, being a proof-of-stake UTXO chain, failing to launch smart contracts or smart contract throughput in the correct amounts, but then also the controversy surrounding Charles Hoskinson. We'll talk about that another time. I might just do a dedicated small video just speaking about the controversy surrounding Charles Hoskinson. Interviewed him with Nerd Girl, 2 years ago, and personable guy, as personable and as friendly as the day is long. But clearly there are some problems with the PR machine over at Cardano. They're going to take a hit for that. That's just going to happen. It's going to be reflected in their price at some point, sooner or later. So that's going to be a serious problem that they have to reckon with sooner than later. All right, guys, jumping back out of the way, though. That's the news about Samsung. I don't think this is going to play out to be as big news as we all think. Helium mining is clearly profitable. It's clearly so. I mean, people have asked me my opinion on helium mining for a while, and that's all I can say. Like, sure, it's a way to make money. It is profitable. It's proving to be profitable. But I do think it's a bad direction for the industry. It doesn't actually, the way that it offers security to a network, the consensus mechanism that it uses to offer security to a crypto network, gives a direct trade-off for insecurity by way of people inviting an IoT lifestyle. Right? So I view it as not net neutral, but net negative because of what people are choosing to do. So yes, this is a way that people can earn. No, I don't think they should. That's just my take on it. So moving on with the news cycle, UK financial regulators are trying to build a digital assets department. This is interesting, guys. This is a sign of the times. This is a sign of things to come. But apparently it is specifically the Financial Conduct Authority. So think of it a little bit as something akin to like FinCEN plus the IRS, maybe, we'll say. But in the UK, there are job postings for a crypto expert. And they're trying to create a single FCA narrative on crypto, along with supervising registered and unregistered crypto firms. Now, if you're not familiar with some of the history there, London used to be a very popular place for new ICOs to form over the last several years. So ICOs and new crypto projects, if they wanted to lend an air of legitimacy, they would rent some like mailing box, some postal box out of London and make it seem as though they were registered there, or they would actually register an LTD based in London to make it seem as though, like, oh yeah, well we're based in London. Obviously, this is a country that has phenomenal laws and regulations, and and crypto is well regulated here. But I think what this job posting is kind of proving, and what we're seeing coming out of the news cycle, is that crypto is not quite as well regulated or clarified in the UK as regulators there would like for it to be. So they're still playing catch up. They're seeing about how so many banks internationally are hiring crypto experts, about how the United States is beefing up its crypto presence, up to and including this most recent executive order from the Biden administration. It's very safe to say that Joe Biden himself has not had all that much direct input, other than to put his stamp on it because it happens to be people that are working while he's in office. But there's all of this activity, right, and interest surrounding cryptocurrencies. The UK can't be left out. They get that, right? So they're acting on that now. And I think that this is, as much as we don't like it, this is what broad, large-scale adoption looks like, is world governments, the various nation states of the world, leaning in and saying, okay, you've been telling us about it for years. We noticed. Now what? You told us we should view this cryptocurrency stuff as money. Great, we do now. Pay taxes, right? That's going to be the first thing that they say. Cool. You can have your crypto money. Just give us our cut. So I think that's what we're going to see increasingly coming out of the UK. I don't know. We'll see. Tell me in the live chat, what do you think is going to be the upshot of this new job posting in the UK for the FCA? What do you think they're going to do? Are they going to try to mirror something along the lines of the executive order that came out here in the United States? Is it going to be something very different? Do you think it's going to be more or less restrictive than the United States? Give me your best guess down in the comments, because I think that's all we can do right now is just kind of guess at what that's going to shape up to be. And I'll check in on your comments just a second here. But do tell me what you think about that, guys, at any point for the news cycle. Also, last but not least, last news article we have today is that Enjin is launching a Polkadot parachain just for NFTs and gaming. It's called the Efinity parachain. And apparently they want to, they want to have games on this smart contract chain. Polkadot, you guys have heard me say it. I've got kind of mixed feelings about it. I have nothing against it. I just don't know about it very, very well. I've been looking for a way to lean in and get to understand Polkadot just a little bit better. And I think that what I'm seeing here is a good faith effort on the part of Enjin to work within the Polkadot parachain sort of paradigm. Wow. Just use a bunch of alliteration here, but I mean, that's the right way of saying it. The Polkadot parachain paradigm to create value the way they know how. Guys, I've got the craziest. Wow. There we go. Sheesh. I had the craziest connectivity error there. I was definitely getting choppy. Just looking at my bit rate. Acting kind of weird there. But yeah, so seeing Enjin lean in and there we go. Yep, we're back. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It even took YouTube a little bit longer to realize that there was a problem. OBS knew right away, but YouTube did not. It did not. Oh, hi, Kevin. So yeah, we're back anyway. And so seeing this news, guys, it's got me excited a little bit more so. I wasn't sure if there was anything for me to get excited about on Polkadot. I think maybe there is, potentially. Maybe there is. And I think it may be that Enjin is doing this work. So in launching Efinity could be pretty cool. So just non-fungible tokens, NFTs in the Polkadot ecosystem. Also has an Efinity metaverse that is in the works, being planned for build out. And that's been announced for some time, but apparently this is the next big step, right? So it's actually launching that parachain. The parachain auctions happened a while back, and I realized that we haven't been explicitly focused on any of the Polkadot ecosystem, so we wouldn't be focused on those parachain auctions. But that's why our community, me anyway, I probably missed out on a lot of the best alpha from the Polkadot ecosystem because I wasn't focused on the parachain auctions. Well, here we are. Fast forward several months, we're starting to see these things launch. We're starting to see the use cases come out of the woodwork and people and groups staking their claim, saying, all right, we got this parachain that's really great for this thing. We're going to become market leaders over here in the Polkadot ecosystem. So bummer. I missed out, guys. I'm just telling you, I missed out. So I'm going to try to pay some attention to that, make sure that I really understand about that moving forward, and I don't miss from this ecosystem. I kind of feel that way about the Cosmos and IBC ecosystem as well. I spent too long not paying attention to it, and it's about time for me to really start tracking some of these projects. But Enjin is a first mover there. Over on txstreet.com, ladies and gentlemen, this is, well, this should be where we get to visualize some of the stuff that you see along the side here, some of their menu options you see along here. So current gas price, 60 Gwei. We'll take a look at the visualizer in just a second here. We also mentioned we're going to look at top OpenSea stats so it can quickly troll NFTs, figure out what's good in the NFT space. Lots of good NFTs that are being brokered on OpenSea. Do we love OpenSea though? No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody loves OpenSea. I think OpenSea was useful for a time, and it's kind of limited utility now because it always seems to either be breaking, or there's not enough customer service, or they're updating smart contracts which aren't secure, so people get wrecked because they're trying to update their NFTs. It seems like it's been just a string of problems, one after the other, for OpenSea. Are you using OpenSea? And I ask you guys right now live, if you are using OpenSea, let me know in the comments, the live chat. What is good about OpenSea? What do you like about OpenSea? What is really painful for you about OpenSea? What do you wish could be improved? Like, what's the single biggest thing for you is like, man, if another platform did this better, I would never use OpenSea again. Tell me, because I'd love to know. There's a lot of volume going through OpenSea, but clearly there's a lot of need for competition too. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you think could be improved for sure. Jonas is saying Skynet are trying to take over. Yeah, a little lag in the live stream earlier. Probably trying to take over this live stream. Let's be very real. They're always trying, but will we let them? No. Not if we can help it, right? We won't let them. All right, guys, jumping back in. Take a look at the top OpenSea collections, and then let's just check to see over the last 24 hours what has been our biggest gaining project. Looks like Block versus MC. Can't really trust that, guys. Let's go over a little bit of literacy for this chart here. Can't really trust that because the current 24-hour sales is nothing. The total supply is 9,999, and there are over 4,500 owners with a floor price of 0. So if that's the case, that just means it's a giant airdrop. There's a lot going on, a lot of movement, but not a lot of real traction, not a lot of real price action. So can't take that too seriously. Looks like the number 2 is Townstar, though. Their price has gone up significantly over the last 24 hours. They do have a 24-hour volume attached to it, though, of 23 ETH. So they're actually moving things. The other side in that number 3 spot doesn't have as profound a price action, but they're moving a heck of a lot more clearly with a floor price that is, I mean, it's a healthy floor price, right? 0.7 ETH. That's killer, man. Who wouldn't want to see that with over almost 600 sales over the last 24 hours? Is there the possibility of wash trading here? Yes, there's always the possibility that's always possible for sure. But just wanted to put this little tool back on your radar. Put this little measuring tool for NFTs, specifically on OpenSea, back into our live stream. I just think it's a really important thing to see here, guys. I think it's great that TX3 is doing it. This is any of these kinds of indicators that help us sort of discover good things. I think that's important, and we can always adjust these as we need to for whatever it is that we personally think is important. But I think the 24-hour change is one thing, and then comparing it to the 1 hour, comparing it to the floor price, seeing over the 24 hours, that same 24-hour period, if there's been any volume at all, I think that helps a lot. Okay, I don't know what their happening tab is. Trending contracts. There you go. Swap router. Are we really shocked about this? Yeah, swap router. It should be huge. And then sand. Yeah, not surprising at all. Let's go to our visualizer to take a look at the Ethereum network, though, and the Bitcoin network. We'll compare and contrast those two. Looks like we need to do some adjustments here. I kind of wish this guy would remember. Median transfer fee. We're just going to cut to the chase to the median transfer fee, and it's 37 cents roughly in US dollars. Pending TXs, we don't need latest block. We don't need median transfer fee. We do need median contract fee. We want, and we'll take a look at the median gas price as well. That's pretty helpful for us. But current median transfer fee, just under $4, which for Ethereum is better than it's been for a while. Contract fee, 21. I can say safely that in the last 36 hours, I was able to transfer using a smart contract. My smart contract fee, it was extremely reasonable. I think it was under, gosh, what was it? It was under $15. It was under $10, maybe even. I just remember paying an extremely low fee because somebody requested some stable coins, and I was like, oh, I hate sending stable coins because if you send less than a certain amount, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because of the gas fee. But I was able to send some stable coins and actually kind of not feel like, like tying myself to a giant boulder in the ocean or whatever, jumping off a cliff. It was kind of nice. It was a pleasant surprise for sure. However, that usually signals trouble for GPU mining because those fees are directly associated with the gas fee marketplace and structure that gets miners paid. So I don't know. On the one hand, I guess silver linings, but on the other hand, giant gray cloud over miners before you notice the silver lining of whatever, right? Of like, oh, cool, low fees, except miners are getting wrecked. We're getting trashed right now with those low fees. We got, let's see, Daniel jumping into the chat saying, I used it a while ago. If using ETH is a pain, it's easy to use. Magita says, until the average person can read code, devices will never be safe. That's true. Devices will not ever be safe. You are totally right. And it is probably overly optimistic to think that we can make them really, really safe for people. But there are ways that we can make them safer, I think. And that is if we just stop putting extra cameras and mics into everything all the time, right? Like if it's physically possible for a thing to be abused, there's got to be some kind of a law about this, right? Some sort of like immutable law of technology. In the same way that we have Godwin's law for online debate. We have Moore's law for the pace of technological innovation. There's got to be some kind of a law published somewhere, and please chime in to educate me if you know this. That makes it very clear that if there is if there's potential for abuse, it will eventually be expressed or exploited by some party somewhere. That's why I'm so big on using technological privacy preserving methods, right, and tools, is because when we know that something can be abused, then I think it logically follows that there will be some group out there that has the incentive to commit abuse. And I think that's true of most tech. If we have too many cameras and too many mics, it's only a question of time before they get abused. So rant over. But TX Street is showing us pretty great time to move funds if you need to. On the Bitcoin side, it's never a bad time to use Samurai Wallet. Strongly recommend it if you know what it's for. Good for you if you don't. Look it up. We will be doing some future media that helps educate on what Samurai Wallet is and why it's important. Maybe not a how-to, but definitely detailing it. Total value locked across all chains right now. Ethereum is currently... Oh, come on now. Come on now. Ethereum currently at 54% market dominance for all DeFi within this construct of total value locked, within that frame of total value locked. And we're seeing that it is on a trend downward, but we got to check to see what is taking its place. You see how the stacked ranking has shifted over time. BSC, Solana, and Avalanche duking it out, as well as Terra, occasionally getting a word in edgewise there, the number 5 spot, but then getting edged back out again. We're getting pumped up to the number 2 spot, displacing BSC rather. That's more accurate. But clearly going up in percentage over the last 24 hours and 7 days. It's just killing it. 1 month is really what the story, I think, here at 78% up. It's basically on a tear. I don't know what it would take for it to level off or for it to retrace. Not sure, guys. I don't think that I know enough about what's going on in the Terra ecosystem to be able to say that confidently. But it makes me curious. Let's take a look. Looks like right now in the Terra ecosystem, these are the protocols that are currently live in the Terra ecosystem. They've got Anchor, which is an exclusive, and then a bunch of other exclusives as well. In fact, the only protocols that are not exclusives are Mirror Protocol and then Lido, which has got pretty equal representation across Ethereum, Solana, and then Moon River. So and Moon River, is again within that Polkadot ecosystem. What it doesn't seem to have outside of Terra, right, participation in Terra, is some other IBC or Cosmos-based ecosystem play. But with Lido being available on Terra, that makes it available across all of the Cosmos and IBC ecosystem, or should be in terms of token portability across Cosmos chains or Tendermint chains. And I don't know that that's necessarily a primitive that works in the Polkadot ecosystems where one parachain can share with another, or testnets can have, atomic swaps between the main nets or between the other test nets, right, in some kind of a parachain atomic swap paradigm. So I have to look more into that, guys, and you have my apologies, but I'm going to try to shoot straight with you and try to admit when I have some ignorance surrounding a thing so that I don't ever oversell my knowledge in this area, right, guys? Got a lot of experts in the crypto sphere, and I'm not trying to be that guy who's like, well, I'm an expert on everything unilaterally and you're an idiot. No, I've got a lot to learn when it comes to when it comes to Polkadot, especially. So I'll just admit that easier than trying to correct some bad info that causes people to make bad choices. So interesting to see, though, that number 2 spot is actually cross-chain. So it's not the biggest TVL, but it is a lot, right? $7.8 billion of their TVL is through Lido, but then Anchor is pretty much what solidified that lead that it has in the DeFi stacked ranking here across all chains. Let's boil it down to EVM style chains, though, and take a look at what that looks like. 70% Ethereum dominance, then BSC, usual suspects, right? BSC, Avalanche, Phantom, Polygon, Matic. Phantom catching up to Polygon in a very serious way in terms of protocol support, 201 versus 207. And there are some Polygon exclusives, maybe not as many, but there are some Polygon exclusives, just, for the sake of we'll say fan service, right? From my comfort, I want to see what those are. And it looks like the number 2, there you go, take a look at that. It's QuickSwap. Not a big shock, but about $500 million of total value locked. That is a Polygon exclusive because it is the primary DEX, right? It's the most popular DEX on this platform. Uniswap, SushiSwap, all the other swap protocols that are forks of the Uniswap protocol that function on Polygon, many of them are not exclusive to Polygon. There are only a few that are exclusive to Polygon. And then a few other projects that are and protocols that are exclusive to Polygon. But yeah, some of them are just Uniswap clones, like this little guy, DinoSwap, right? $6.3 million on that little protocol. And Gains Network also just over $6 million on that network. Polycat as well, right? Where just under $6 million. And all of this could, I don't want to speak too boldly here, but if there's the potential that all of these could just be bootstrapping their own liquidity and their own TVL there. So what we're seeing is not so much that a market is volunteering to go to these protocols, but that there are some VC groups or some angel investors, there's just some interested parties that are throwing liquidity into there. So the TVL looks a little more pumped up, but it is exclusive to Polygon for right now, so it is helping out the case in terms of the protocol count. That said, they're not ever going to advance past, Avalanche and Phantom are not going to advance past Polygon through those protocols because they're not going to change quickly. Let's just take a look at that once again, make it a little more clear. So you can just see pretty plainly that that most of these are shared across the other majors. There's Avalanche, there's Phantom, right? Phantom is it's showing up in a lot of these areas, right? There are some that are not going to be shared with those as well, but really not that many. And then you do have some that don't have overlap with the Phantom though. Now, looking at it now, realizing that there aren't as many that are directly overlapping as maybe I thought before. It could be that there's some other Phantom exclusives that are also helping to pump up those numbers. But the likelihood of them being like these, right? Polycat and DinoSwap and Gains Network, these other markets where they're interesting, but they may not have that same cross-chain mass appeal. I think there's a high likelihood of that. I'm a little bit curious. I want to take a closer look at that, guys. I want to look at that actually right now. If we go check out, there we go. Come here. The Phantom side of DeFi Llama. Looks like the Phantom side of DeFi Llama. Yeah, there it is, guys. You've got a few heavy hitting protocols, Solidly, SpookySwap, Geist Finance. They're also doing really well. SpookySwap is basic. If we're calling a spade, SpookySwap is pretty close to the same TVL as QuickSwap over on Polygon. So you've got this exclusive DEX, right? Exclusive DEX AMM, obviously. And it's only going to be on Phantom. And so you've got a very similar play where people who are early adopters of Phantom, people who wanted to be able to use all of their tokens on an AMM DEX that is adding new features or whatever, they've got SpookySwap for Phantom, and then they've got QuickSwap over on Polygon. And these are just the options that you have to deal with, right? The cross-chain platforms like your 1-inch DEXs and Matchas and whatever else, it's just not quite the same. We can go down the list to figure out where our cross-platform DEXs are, and they're just not at that same volume of value locked. They just don't have that same level of value locked. as the exclusives, right? So Spooky Swap is doing really great by them, and then Solidly is in that top spot, but it is an exclusive, which I think is kind of giving Phantom that edge in the markets right now. Take a look at the big picture again, though. That's the EVM side of the DeFi Llama breakdown for DeFi. But over on the parachain side, the lineup hasn't changed a lot much. Moonriver still in the third place, still kind of dominant in terms of protocol support. I'm a little bit curious to see where Moonriver has strong crossover with EVM chains. And it looks like, first off, Moonbeam. Okay, there you go, another parachain. But it looks like we've got SushiSwap, of course, right? That's not too big a surprise. SushiSwap is pretty much trying to support everywhere they can. And we got about $21 million of value locked there. So it's not that big threat in terms of TVL. It's not there. But it does have a lot of exclusives, too. You can see right there where there's only that icon for Moonriver, like a Moon DAO. That's not a big shocker, right? It's a DAO named after Moonriver. River Kitty, right? But you got $0 in that. Swapcat with $0. Look at how many chains it's supported. But yeah, Swapcat just like laughing at this self-own of a project. So yeah, I guess sort of hypothetically 40 protocols supported, but realistically more like 35, it looks like. Had a couple that were deleted from the lineup here as well. And then many of them that are below a $1 million TVL mark, which I just don't even know if we should be taking that seriously at this point. So yeah, in my mind, I'd be deleting a lot of those smaller entries for right now. What we mentioned earlier on with Enjin jumping into the Efinity parachain, it's pretty amazing what they're doing. They're building something of value from the ground up. They're kind of bootstrapping something that has its own unique use case, very similar to the application-specific blockchains of the IBC and Cosmos ecosystem, where you have all these different chains that are supposed to do one thing, but have composability and atomic swaps with other chains. Maybe we see that coming out of this Enjin startup on the parachain of Polkadot that they're working on. Maybe we do see that happen. I wonder, though, if that's going to be counted in a place like this, right? If people are going to be looking at it and thinking, oh, yeah, for sure, that totally makes sense. We're definitely seeing more DeFi happening on this chain. They might just view it as like an NFT platform that's predominantly for ownership rights of NFTs within the Polkadot ecosystem. But I'm very excited to see if it does give Moonriver a run for its money. But yeah, those are our parachains there, guys. I want to take a look at the Cosmos ecosystem as well. So IBC, Terra is just gobbling everything up. 90% of the DeFi dominance there. It's just not even close. And then as far as the protocols that are supported as being listed, it's got 24. That can't be right, guys. Osmosis showing one protocol listed. It's the Osmosis protocol. Except that kind of it has so many other projects supported there, and through that staking, that because it's an IBC project, it kind of supports everything in that ecosystem. So I think it's probably just harder to measure in a way. Let's take a look at Terra though, and take a look at the protocols supported there as well. We also have Anchor, right? So Anchor is a big reason. We took a look at this earlier. I'm sorry, already saw this, but yeah, so many other protocols supported. I don't know. I don't know if that's the perfect representation. I really don't. Yeah, I really don't know if that's a perfect representation of how this actually breaks down, guys. But that's our DeFi Llama overview in a nutshell. We've taken a look at the different sides of those ecosystems. I wanted to show you a tool that I think is really awesome. It's just speaking of the IBC ecosystem, we're going to come up with additional tools like this that I share with you over time, because I think these are pretty important for me to share with you. I think it's pretty important for you to know. Just think it's important for you to be aware of. All right, guys, double checking my stream health. I'm getting worried that things are not connecting as well as I wanted them to. But this is called mapofzones.com, and going to be adding that to the lineup of tools that we have down in the description of the video. I'm just using my trackpad, or you can use your mouse wheel if you want to just zoom in and then get a representation of how different protocols, or how different application-specific blockchains on IBC or on Cosmos, their ecosystem, how they are connecting to everything else. So here's Sentinel, for example. Here's DVPN or Sentinel. And clearly it's showing how many channels it has. It's showing how many IBC transfers it has had. And then it breaks it down to the number of IBC transfers out versus the number of transfers in from other IBC chains. Because you can hold your assets from other Cosmos or IBC chains, like you see here in this little constellation. You can transfer them from one protocol to another. This is why I kind of think it's weird, right? This is a greater representation in my mind than just saying that you have protocol support. Here's Terra, right, with thousands in and thousands out. You got a lot of transfers in and out. Far more, I think, than many of the others, like not quite by an order of magnitude for all of them, but for some of them, right? You got much more coming in. And yeah, I love this tool. I love this visualization to be able to see, okay, roughly how much has everything had transferred in. And then here's where, like, where I said I expressed doubt before, right? Where it's like, well, let's see, Osmosis versus Terra, right? Versus the Luna ecosystem. Let's take a look at the DeFi dominance as measured by map of zones. And here's where I think there's a stronger case for Osmosis than there is for Terra, in a way. But try to follow my logic here. Tell me if you think it's flawed, guys, obviously. Give me some feedback here. But Osmosis saying that in terms of IBC out, over 90,000 transfers have gone out of the Osmosis chain into other IBC chains. You see it's connected across this entire ecosystem, right? To Cosmos, even more transfers than the Cosmos hub itself, but out to Constellation, out to Sommelier, out to Crypto.org, out to all of these, even Chihuahua, right? The meme coins and stuff, all the rest of these. And then one that's its own little island right now, Altered Carbon. I think it has yet to launch. Might be pre-TGE, but it was just added. But the point is, Osmosis connects to everything. It just does. Every single project connects to Osmosis. Why? Because it's a DEX and AMM. They can provide liquidity there. They can set up liquidity pairs over on Osmosis. So I just don't understand why it doesn't show more, right? I just imagine that it would show more protocol support as measured by the number of chains and coins in the Cosmos ecosystem that it supports. So even though these are all application-specific chains, and by their own right, in their own way, they're all protocols. That's why I'm kind of confused. And maybe I'm getting it wrong, but you guys tell me. It could be that, yeah, maybe I am getting it wrong. Maybe there's a need to be able to move these coins staked over to Osmosis or have them still perform their native functions from these application-specific chains and then have them still function on Osmosis while they're off their native chain. But maybe you can tell me what you think about that, guys. Are you into the Cosmos and IBC ecosystem? If you are, tell me how you understand this, because maybe I'm getting something fundamentally wrong. I don't think I am, but I think there's a strong case for Osmosis being viewed as a little more central to this ecosystem, right? There you go. Just click and drag that guy. I think that's a more accurate map in terms of the number of nodes, number of connections that it has, or noodles from all the rest of the nodes. Whereas Terra, you see, is not necessarily connected to everything on this map. That's a little bit weird to me. There you go. Go to Osmosis. See that? Everything is strung along. Everything in that ecosystem connects to Osmosis. Man, this is a fun website to use. Why doesn't everybody build their websites like this? They're block explorers and their visual representations. Seriously, txstreet.com and mapofzones.com. These guys have just totally got it figured out. Just saying. I mean, as far as the tools to be able to analyze cryptocurrencies, blockchain projects, this is how you win. Just my 2 cents, guys. Just, it's my idea. But yeah, you see it right here also. They've got it in a stacked ranking, like very, very clearly, that Osmosis is ahead of Cosmos and, on down the list or whatever. Just kind of shows it very, very clearly. But then the visual representation is cool too. Moving on to GPU mining. Guys, and GPU mining profitability. First off, I want to thank you again, before we jump into that, for hitting that thumbs up. Thank you so much for sharing this video while we're live. It means a lot that you share this while we're live because we can interact more, we can talk more, we can ask more questions, we can answer more questions. And you guys, of course, can show what great community members you are by being awesome to the newcomers and helping them get up to speed. But yeah, jumping back into whattomine.com. This is the stacked ranking over on the GPUs tab. We've got a cost basis of 14 cents per kilowatt hour because in most residential areas, this is what you're actually going to pay. I don't care that they default to 10 cents per kilowatt hour here. I think that's really great when people can get that. But when you take a look at where most people live in the United States, anyway, this is the actual average, closer to it than 10 cents anyway. The RTX 3090 is currently only returning just under $3 of profit every single day, and that's on the King Daddy Ethereum. Kind of a bummer, but that continues to go down or crab sideways at that level. Biggest loser on the flip side is R9 380. Not a shock anymore. It's underwater. The R9 Fury, even being an ancient card, is still doing 15 cents per day. So maybe you're tempted not to turn it off, but you know my reasons for saying that maybe you should try to liquidate it, or make a gamer somewhere happy that needs even just an R9 Fury. They might be happier to have this 7-year-old graphics card than you are to mine on it. 1050 Ti. Shout out to Bits Be Trippin'. He just did a video talking about how he's got a rig that still has these in them. They're great cards, bus powered. You don't have to run an additional supplemental power supply to each one of the cards, just to the risers, right? It just runs off of riser power if you have those adequately powered, right? So under 75 watts. It just gets showing an average of 80 watts here. That's on ProgPow. Just to be very clear, you can typically undervolt and overclock these to get just the right amount, so they sip just as much power as the PCI Express rails will supply. But interesting card. Really cool that Bits decided to make that video, so do go check that out when you have a minute. But the Polaris Edition cards are doing 25 cents, 21 cents. That's on the 4 gig models. 8 gig models doing 80 cents. Huge difference, right? Being able to mine Ethereum on those older cards, because they do ETH hash really well, but Ethereum Classic is not so hot, right? It's not nearly as profitable at the same hash rate, roughly half of that profit. So yeah, not great at all. Really, really not great at all. But other suspects that we have lined up here for the most profitable coins are Beam, Ryo, Zero. A lot of the same stuff we've been seeing: Equilibria, CCX, right? Conceal Network, Bitcash, and then a few others. Do we have Conflux? Yep. Do we have Flux? Yes. Do we have Firo? Yep. Out there's if you have these more esoteric cards, the RTX 2080, kind of an oddball, right? Where it's not profitable on Ethereum, hardly at all, but Zero and Flux are great. And then there you go, the 1060 Ti LHR, right? Where you've got Ergo that's profitable. It's on the lineup there, and then Zero again. But then also the RX 6700 XT. Sorry, got a little bit backwards there. Mining Firo at a profit. So you got a few of these cards that just sort of kind of shake things up a little bit. Same with the 6900 XT Firo showing up there as well. But yeah, usual suspects, guys. You shouldn't be too surprised by what you see there. Gonna say what I've been saying for many, many weeks. I've been saying it since other channels were telling you, hey, look, I just bought more GPUs. You should do what I'm doing. Oh, gosh golly gee. Here are my referral links down in the description. You shouldn't be doing that. I think most people shouldn't be doing that. I think most people should be taking stock of what their current situation is and potentially either sticking to a holding pattern with their mining or just figuring out their plans for the next phase of the market. If we do crab sideways for a while, you're probably fine, right? If you know you're in the money now. If we do dip downward again, you might not be fine. You might feel like you have to shut things off for a little while, or you might decide, I wish I would have sold my cards when I could have fetched a higher price, right? Before the GPU market goes illiquid, because every time the mining profits dip below profitability, the GPU market becomes illiquid, prices drop off of a cliff, and you sell your GPUs, your really nice GPUs, cheap to a guy like me. So don't say I didn't warn you guys. Did it last cycle? I'll do it again. So, but hopefully not from you. Hopefully you'll know better. Hopefully you'll escape that fate. All right, guys, checking in on our comments. Luttrell is saying, I'm definitely interested in the IBC gang. The whole thing is a tad bit overwhelming. Yeah, I agree, right? There's so many different sides to the crypto market. We try to cover as much as we can in this one live stream. I'm realizing, guys, I'm going to have to start breaking it up. These marathon live streams where I try to cover so much of the market, it's overwhelming, isn't it? There's too much to track. We got the Polkadot ecosystem. We've got the EVM ecosystem. We've got the Cosmos ecosystem. We've got non-EVM chains that are not Cosmos or Polkadot like Solana. We've got the NFT markets. We've got DeFi and yield products. It's so much. And then, of course, proof of work, which this channel was founded on, and I still think it really is a hope for the future, right? The proof of work mining scene within cryptocurrency is so important still today because it's proven, because it has less downtime, because it doesn't just break, right, and go offline for 11 hours or, break a half dozen times in a given quarter and leave people, like investors, confidence shaken. Proof of work just works. It hasn't really had a massive problem over a period of time. And you do get people who are like, they're not subject matter experts, guys like Tim Pool, who will mention it offhand and speak outside of their expertise on proof of work. And they'll make it sound like it's simpler than it is, because proof of work is still extremely important. But there is a lot that I want to cover in this market because proof of stake is here, and there are some chains that are using it to great advantage. And I don't think it's going away either. I really don't. I think that we're moving towards proof of stake as a trend, and understanding how to run validator nodes, understanding how to run enhanced service nodes and stuff, sort of like a Flux node or like an Oxen node. That's powerful too. It's still mining, but it's providing value in a different way, right? You're running a validator. It's still IT, like how we do with mining rigs. But I think that's important too, guys. Anyway, you tell me, should I be breaking this live stream up into other different segments, or should I just live stream markets at sometimes, or should I just start doing pre-recorded stuff and just start uploading separate bits and pieces of content so you can choose what you want to tune into? Because that's kind of the direction that I'm leaning. The live streams are a lot of fun, but I'm thinking that it might be better to just break this up a little bit more so that we can cover different sides of the market without it getting weird. Because to me, it's starting to feel like it's getting weird where I'm talking about so much stuff. It's just overwhelming, right? But anyway, tell me in the comments, guys. I would love to hear from you. That's the most important thing, is that this is valuable for you. So you tell me. All right, guys, that is whattomine.com. All of our profitability there in a nutshell. Before we go to our portfolios, here is a quick teaser of an upcoming video. This is called Search, and this is an open source front-end search aggregator. And what does that mean? That means that you can search across multiple search engines and anonymize your results, just aggregate the results and serve them to your own custom search application. Anybody can run it because it's open source, but there are already some really great institutions that are running it, so you can trust them if you want to and just use their version of search, spelled with an X, or you can run your own. And I think what I want to do is create a short video showing you how you can run your own, and then maybe setting one up at mineyourbiz. Maybe. You tell me in the comments if you'd like to see that. I'm going to show some of that anyway, but if you'd like to learn how to self-host it, tell me in the comments. I think it's part of that essential privacy and self-sovereignty line of videos that we've been talking about doing for a while. But that's what I'm using right now, is Search. I've moved away from Brave Search, like I said I would. I didn't just camp out here on, I didn't just sit on my hands, right? After okay, well, Brave's good enough, because no, it's not good enough. I'm not super happy with them. But here's our portfolio, guys. GPU mining portfolio. Flux still in the #1 spot, guys. It's just been if you got in when we got in, it's been looking great. However, over the last 7 days, here's where I think we need to do the most right sizing. Haven is our winner. So if you've been holding it just recently, if you had a recent acquisition of Haven or Firo or Grin, apparently, then you've done much better over this last week than with anything else in the portfolio. You're not doing bad with Flux, but with Haven, did 100% up, right? When it got towards $2, I mentioned it could be a value buy. Well, here we are at $3.44. It was definitely a value buy at under $2. So take that for what it's worth. Because we bought in this paper trade, this paper tracker, we bought it so long ago, it's 72% down since we first acquired it in this portfolio. But let's just be very, very clear. Over 7 days, it's been kicking butt. It's doing great. Huge return to profitability. And in fact, it was even higher than that only 3-4 days ago. So, don't let these numbers fool you. you may have short-term goals and targets. So you've got to pay attention to what's right for you. But that's our GPU mining portfolio. Still on the money overall, but it's mostly because of our top performers. Hard drive mining, not as profitable, but over 7 days, storage has had a little 11% pump, and made Safecoin up by almost 3%. Everything else down in the dumps. Chia at a new all-time low, printing new all-time lows, $66. So lower than its all-time low right now. If you think that's a value buy, maybe consider it. I don't know. Maybe you're wrong though. There's no telling with Chia. So I'm not diving in just yet, but we're right about at that point where I promised I would cover it again. So I guess expect something dedicated about Chia from me in the near future, because I think it's at that point where it might be a value buy, where I would actually consider putting some of my own money in to grab a couple of Chia coins now. And it would cost me less than grabbing a couple of hard drives. Ironically, I could buy one full block reward of Chia for less than a really fancy hard drive that everybody else was buying in the hopes of getting a full block reward. Right? Like, I'm comfortable with those economics. I might be happy to do that. So we'll pay attention to Chia over the next little while. Shout out to the poor investor who's been tracking Chia faithfully over months and what it would take to get more Chia over months. For my part, I'm looking at it dispassionately, guys. It's not something that I'm super excited about, and that's why I'm looking at it now. Like, oh, well, the price action is exciting to me. It's not the project itself. It's not the team itself. Bram Cohen is a very interesting character, right? Has very contributed a lot of value with BitTorrent, which is why I think he's not going to give up. But I'm otherwise like, I could take it or leave it. And I've been that way the entire time. Now I'm leaning more towards take it rather than leave it. So just, you've been, you guys have been put on notice. We may be acquiring some actual Chia in the real world instead of this paper tracker. CPU mining, Raptorium still at the top of the list, but over the last 7 days down. So let's sort for 7-day performance. Yenton, back from the dead. We don't even know what its market cap is. I don't know if I should take that seriously. Wownero up 37%, out there melting faces. I think that's because Wownero has been used successfully in testnet on a mobile full node implementation. So if you're interested in running a crypto full node, hold on. I got to show that comment. Hey there, drinking milk. He says, what's up? Yes, indeed. With DuckDuckGo pulling their latest. Yeah. And drinking milk, not a big fan of Chia. I'm kind of with you there. I'm not a big fan of it, but I don't think that I should just get rid of it. I think we should pay attention to it. Maybe we can make a wise choice in terms of a new acquisition of cheap coins. Maybe. All right, guys, appreciate you sharing the link while we are live. Paul Doherty says, did I miss the Chia dumpster fire update? Yeah, you did. All-time low. Printing new all-time lows every other day. That's what it's come to. But that's why I may acquire some, guys. If it's on fire sale. So even if it's a dumpster fire, guys, what is it? We're gonna modify that Warren Buffett quote, right? Like, when there's blood in the streets, buy. Even if it's your own blood. Well, I'm gonna say if there's a fire sale, buy. Even if it's a dumpster fire, it might actually make sense in some cases because you could still see some return to profitability potentially. I don't think that she has done yet. I'm just going to put it that way. So I need to do a little more research on it. I'm not just going to throw good money after bad just because I see it that it's cheap or on sale. So I've got to do a little more research on it. Again, only 24 hours in the day, man. Only one life to live, and so many other things going on with the day job working in crypto, guys. This is something that I actually do. Interfacing with projects and rather liaising with projects and doing work for them. Now, it's great. I wouldn't trade it for a thing. But like most jobs, it takes time. So yeah, I don't always have as much time as I'd like for the research, but I'd like to research more about the current state of Chia to see if it does make sense to pick some up. So this is our CPU mining portfolio. Wownero, I think it's because they just had this recent mobile full node, a guide that was written on running a full Monero node on a phone, but they did Wownero first because it is the unofficial testnet for Monero. So its price popped up. Who knew? Well, we did. We had it in this portfolio, guys, obviously, because it was worth including in a portfolio. Pretty much everything that's in these portfolios has some merit. And Wownero, I think, is kind of proving it right now, right? Where it's doing its duty as a testnet coin, right? Like, all right, take some bullets for Monero. Help us figure out if this thing works. Monero had a little 20% pop this week too, so not doing too bad there. People are pretty happy about that. And I around the blockchain last week was asked about that, like what did you do? Like nothing, literally. Monero just has strong fundamentals. It's always going to come back. ASIC mining coins. Let's see what the last 7 days looks like. Parachain had the strongest performance over 7 days, over $1, but it was well under $1 before, so 33% up. Yes, please. May I have another? Yeah, thank you, sir. But Zcash also doing really well, I think because of the pump of privacy coins. You had Parachain, Zcash, Grin, Monero, and others all doing really well over the last week. And then, of course, Haven as well. When you have that really weird announcement of very stringent security, very stringent regulation, yeah, you're going to get people running to, like, flying to safety, the safety that only private-oriented or privacy-oriented coins can give. But FPGA mining portfolio, only Cadena is currently still in the profit based on our portfolio entry. But over the last 7 days, Nimiq is doing much better, 17% up. So if you've been mining Nimiq, hooray, good for you. You got a 17% raise for free just for mining. And you probably got it on the cheap based on your cost for power. Was it Sam in the chat that just bought a couple of CVP 13s? And apparently, with the intent to mine Nimiq just recently, well, then you just got it, an almost 18% raise, person, Sam. So good for you. Kind of cool. All right. Drinking Milk is excited about privacy. You know, I think everybody should be. That said, I think everybody should be aware of what their privacy options are on all the mainstream networks as well, if you're interested in getting yield on your coins. I do like the privacy-oriented coins. I like the privacy-oriented projects. And I think that what makes it really difficult to take stock in just privacy-oriented coins and not diversify out to the smart contract platforms is that the smart contract platforms offer you yield. End of story. If you park 15 parachain coins in a wallet, then you check in a year later, you still have 15 coins. That's it. You have 15R. If you park something that is yield-bearing into a DEX and AMM, and it happens to have a ZK layer or a ZK project that lets you do a post mix out to a different wallet, well, then you have 10, 15, 50, 100% more coins at the end of a year. And then you also got to anonymize its trail over to a new holding wallet, which you could then, of course, go to an exchange and buy parachain with if you really wanted to. So it's kind of a difficult value proposition in my mind to stick just with privacy coins. That's kind of why I've gone this direction of focusing on DeFi and NFTs, because there is yield there. There's an arbitrage opportunity. There's a business case for it. I think that it makes a lot of sense. Privacy coins are great. So while we still have this broader crypto ecosystem, I see a use case for both. I'll just put it that way. All right, guys, jumping back into our proof of stake smart contract platforms. From our initial entry, it looks like, Terra, Avalanche, Phantom, Solana, Cosmos, all killing it, kicking booty. But over 7 days, Terra mostly, and then Polkadot. Mentioned that the Polkadot ecosystem is coming up, and I think it's because of that announcement from Enjin, as well as the other parachains, Moonriver also kind of gaining momentum. Even though the market cap is, there you go, $19 billion. It's under $20 billion now. Say that so casually, like $20 billion is chump change. Obviously it's not, but yeah, but $20 billion, it's not what it was before. Right? These market caps, clearly, they're not what they were before. But Polkadot is coming up over the last 7 days. Same with Chainlink, right? It always manages to do that, take people off guard every now and then. And then Ethereum, Zil, Tron, EOS, Kusama, and that's just about where we end with the single-digit profits. Moving over to, actually, you know what? I kind of want to go the other way around for this one as well. Let's put that in reverse, see what our biggest loser is. Phantom, what? How are you going to do that to us, Phantom? Well, you got to do us dirty. Phantom and Moonriver both down, ironically, even though Polkadot is up. Neo, not down bad, but down 5%. Internet Computer down an additional 4%. I still don't think it's quite at its at the appropriate price for that project and for all the development that's happening on it. And Cosmos have down pretty significantly, which is a surprise to me because of how much is happening on top of it. So there you have it. All righty, guys. Junk drawer, what you got for us? Well, obviously, still the top entry is Everrise, but it's a false metric because we have half the coin supply in this listing. Let's go to the 7-day, see what has done well. Thorchain. Woo! All right. Speaking of privacy-preserving projects, but decentralized finance. This actually gets me excited, guys. Being able to see the success of Thorchain when it had such a terrible time with that hack, but steadily growing, guys, over the last 7 days. That's solid growth. 80% up over 7 days. Just amazing. Phenomenal. Dragons Quick and Quick Swap. What? Guys, I told you. I done told you. You didn't listen, but I told you. Good things were coming for these projects. They did bleed out a lot of value, though, from the first time that I started talking about that. However, there has been, I think, a governance vote or a community vote leading to a governance vote for Quick and Dragons Quick. So that's kind of what was leading to that. Just to be very, very clear, I'm in those communities, so I knew about that early and wanted to bring that to you. Bone is doing a little better, Celsius doing a little better, but everything else is kind of, typical performance over 7 days. Nothing is popping off the way it did over months ago. So yeah, even a portfolio like this, guys, where we've got a lot of these really high performing coins, it's never quite what you think. Everdome is down by 20%, though. That does make me really sad. Currently under 4 cents per coin. So kind of a bummer. I think when it's at 4.5 or 5 cents per coin, that's awesome to see. Very sad to see it dipping like that. But it seems like the last several days in particular could have been something of a market dump. We'll have to return to reviewing Everdome as we did that initial coverage of it, because I'm excited to see how they build. I'm excited to see how they launch. I'm excited to see what's built on top of it and built into it. Play to earn. Is it the future? I mean, I don't know, but I think that what's going to be built on top of Play to Earn is going to be transformative to the world in the same way that the NFT standards and protocols are going to be transformative over time, right? It may not be transformative today, right? Ooh, cool, you can trade, JPEGs on a blockchain. That's not the point, guys. Not really. That's not where this is all headed. It's just right now it's being proven by trading JPEGs on a blockchain. But I think there's a lot more to it, and it's being developed. It's just taking time, is what I'm saying. So building more complex financial instruments like we've been used to over the last, 200 years, 400 years, for as long as there's been, we'll just say creative financing, right? And fractional reserves and reserve systems and banknote systems, for as long as that's been a part of finance, there's been a need to improve it, right? So this tech improves that. So instead of being able to write an infinite number of paper notes, now we have these blockchain representations of derivatives and synthetics and other financial instruments. I think it's important for us to explore all this stuff. And so what better way to do that than with games, right? And with JPEGs. So yeah, I think I'm excited to see what happens with Everdome. Bummer to see it down. SafeMoon Inu, whatever. Kind of it's got high memeability. Same with Volt Inu. We're not too shocked when these kinds of projects dip like that. Looks like Hex is on sale too. It was below 10 cents, I guess, a little while ago, but it's only just over 10 cents right now. So if you are inclined to have Hex, then this is the greatest sale it's been on for quite some time. So that'd be important to acknowledge there, guys. Without being a hater, without being weird, just commenting, right? It's obvious that it's on sale. So pay attention. The IBC gang, guys, we already looked at this earlier on, but we didn't do a stacked ranking in terms of gains. Gains in IBC. Thorchain tops the list. Terra is far behind it, but it's not bad. Almost 70% up this week. And we saw that in the other side of the portfolio as well. But Certic and Secret are our other two gainers in the IBC gang. Alrighty, guys. Let me holla at you. Let me chat with you up close and personal. Is this thing on? All right. Let's talk. Let the stream kind of catch up here. All right. Paul Doherty says, is Nimic CPU mineable only in a web browser? I tried looking into it and wasn't sure what to make of it. Let's take a look at that briefly. Drinking Milk asks if there's any EOS news and says rather trade spaceships. All right, let's take a look at both those things. I'm not heavily involved in the EOS ecosystem, but Crypto Blood is heavily involved in EOS Detroit, and I can always reach out to him for some guidance there. So I will ask Crypto Blood about that. I think for right now, though, what we can look up, and we will look up on stream, is the Nimic question. CPU mineable. Is it CPU mineable? I think, yeah, what we need to do is catch up on the absolute state of that, because the last I checked, it was FPGA mineable, and that's really high performance, relatively much higher performance than just mining it on a CPU. So let's go back to our FPGAs. Go back to Nimiq. Very healthy market cap at the moment, 25 million. And go back over, just click on the links right there within CoinGecko so we get the best possible info. No, I don't want to send any data. Stop it. Stop it. Alrighty. Cool. All right, I'm going to take off Dark Reader as well because I don't want it to be too weird. Let's keep it in its native color scheme. Getting him on S3. Oh, super simple swap. I thought they were talking about, what is it? Amazon S3. Super simple storage. That's confusing. Everything has a name. All the names are gone in this world. Documentation. Yes. Thank you. Assets. Source code. Alrighty. You're right. We got to just search now. Nimiq. Go over to search. Open over here. Nimiq. Mining. Wow. Please use a real browser to visit miner.nimiq.com. Wow. Yeah, they have. Jeez. That is diabolical. Best setup to mine. Not cool. All right, they've got an FAQ, and apparently that is where it works, or how we can find out more about it. Wow, they basically shut that down. It's not even available on the main page there. Oh my gosh. Stop. Yeah, apparently that is not what it once was. Here we go. Looks like on the forum, there's a thread here on the forum for Nimiq. What is cryptocurrency mining? Simply put, no, I don't want to know simply put. Just tell us the how-to. Nano mining versus smart mining. Nano mode, the mining client pulls unnecessary information, including transactions, to validate blocks. Smart mode, from blockchain. Mining, smart mode versus nano mode. They're talking about pooled mining versus solo mining. Why would they rename that to nano versus smart? I don't know. I really don't. 3 ways: browser mining, CPU mining, GPU mining. That can't be right. Community created CPU miners, mining pools, how to start mining with the official client. Let's go to the pools. Generally speaking, some of the guides on pools are much better than guides you would find right here. Nimiq Watch. And you know what? We're going to do that by going to mining pool stats. .stream. And that will let us find what the... So yeah, this browser is not fully changed over yet, by the way. It's still using Brave search. So I've got to change that. Got that changed in my other browser. So we'll go through that in another video. I don't want to bore you to tears on this live stream live. So, right. Search our coins here. Nimiq, show me. All right, these are active pools: Ice Mining, Sky Pool, Ace Mining, Mimic Watch. But clearly, it's between Ice Mining and Sky Pool. And given those options, obviously, we want to go to Ice Mining. Because Canada's way less evil. Confirmed way less evil than anybody else. Canada never does anything evil. Alrighty. This is a solo pool, though. Alrighty. Coins ID 2408. That's... Alrighty. How to mine. It's the Argon 2D NIM algorithm. No way. No way. Mine Mimic CVP 13. Go to fpga.guide then, guys. Yeah, this is going to take a little while to hunt this down. Is it seriously $5,500 right now for a CVP 13? Let me know in the chat. Is that the current price? I'm a little bit surprised by that. I thought it would have come down a little bit, but apparently that's still the price, if that is to be believed. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't feel lucky. Go away. That feels weird. I feel weird. Guidebook. Oh my gosh. Yes. Go. This is... I thought this was safe. Oh my gosh. The last I checked, FPGA Guide was safe. Dude. Okay, here we are suffering from link rot live on the live stream, man. I am so frustrated. This didn't used to be so impossible to get good info, guys. Bummer. Because, yeah, that's just bad. Bad info here, bad info there. Blank pool, I think, is down. I mean, so their own forum is not up to date. It's from 2019, so it's not too big a shock. CVP 13. Mimic. Well, that's interesting. It's actually not that bad at all. That's pretty cool that Brave Search shows that, but at the same time, it's just a widget. You could probably do a search widget like that on a website. Apps there. Dude. Mimic, you are a mystery right now. Guys, I'm not even going to pretend. I realize that I can't find this info live right now. What a letdown. Now, there are a couple of Discord groups that are dedicated to FPGA mining, and I could always look for answers there. I'm not going to live stream that because I don't know what I'll find, and it'll be kind of weird. But there are some Discord groups that are dedicated to FPGA mining. If you know them, then you'll know to go there. If you're not interested in FPGA mining, though, with something like the CVP 13, that large water cooled card that I showed on stream, if you're not interested in doing that, then you'll know that's not the right choice for you. Right? So don't go looking for these Discord groups. If you are interested in FPGA mining in a more simple way, though, then you might be looking for something more like this. Like the Black Miner F1. So I talk about it a lot, guys, and we've not checked in. There you go, Black Miner F1 Plus. Oh, they got the F2. Dude, gotta be choking. By Hash Altcoin. There you go. So a Hash Altcoin is going to show us a little bit about what's going on there with these machines. They look a lot more like ASICs than they ever have before. So there we go. So black miner, hey, you got them all listed right here. So the F2 is the latest, and the F2 square. See, they look a lot like ASICs, don't they? So the F1 Ultra, the F1 Plus, these are the older models. And instead of being just an ASIC where they can only mine one algorithm, these will let you mine multiple algorithms. So the F1 Ultra is available for pre-order. And now I've got to know what the difference is between the F2 and the F1 Ultra. Like, seriously, how do you launch something called the F2 and then call the previous generation the Ultra, have it cost more, and then very likely be higher performance? I don't know, but I want to find out. All right, so here are the algorithms. Do we have, nope, Veriblock, Verus, CKB, Digibyte, AutoCrypt, Cadena, Handshake. Yeah, no, these are some of the other, algorithms for the other coins that are in our portfolio. We could look for coins that are mineable with the Nexus algorithm, though, couldn't we? That would be pretty interesting, I think. So we can search here by Nexus, by the algorithm. The heck? Are you joking me right now? Nexus hash, only one hashing algorithm. There's got to be some other alternate consensus mechanism, because that's weird. Isn't that weird? Yeah, that's weird. Obviously weird. Jeez. Why? Okay. Okay, yeah, I guess it is just for the Nexus blockchain, right? Okay, so that's crazy. But Veriblock, Verus2, CKB, or Nervos, which is going to be better performance all around. And then the relative power consumption on that unit. You see, this is all relatively low power. Let's use as a baseline standard whatever's highest on the list, right? Nexus. We might, actually put my mic down. I was going to get all weird about it, be like, the whole time. But that's weird. It is. It's just weird. I'm going to move my microphone back over to here so I can be hands-free. Use both hands to start searching stuff here. My gosh. So I've got a hypoallergenic dog, but he's so stinky. Come here. Here, doggo. Oh, here's doggo. He's so stinky because he's not washed. Look at that camera. Tell them you're not washed. He's not washed. Got to get the kids to give him a bath today. Man, he's stinky. Like I'm like getting ready to sneeze because he's that like little dust ball, little dust bucket. So seriously, pray for the bathtub after he's washed. It's gonna be murder. So yeah, let's go back to all miners here. Open up a new tab. Do a direct comparison. Grab that F2. What do you got? Algorithms show us Nexus 2.35 gigahash versus 2.5 gigahash on the F1 Ultra. Yeah, clearly higher performance. Veriblock, not even available. 0x token, nice. ZP, Amoveo, Digibyte, K12, Cadena. It's missing a bunch of bit streams that could be used by this one. And guys, here's if you're not familiar with these concepts, if you're not familiar with FPGA mining, then yeah, these machines, they allow you to install something called a bit stream, which essentially, I'm going to simplify this a little bit to my level of understanding. A bit stream is going to tell the FPGA how to be a certain type of hardware. You still need to run software run separate software that allows for mining in the same way that from say like a GPU mining, you have to run T-Rex miner or you have to run Phoenix miner or something along those lines to be able to mine Ethereum or some other algorithm. You still have to run software like that from a main host device. But with these guys, they've got a little host device, little ARM computer that runs that software, but then you also have to flash this bit stream onto the main FPGA element as a sort of a firmware layer, we'll say. It's a custom firmware that just tells it, okay, you're supposed to behave like this kind of hardware device, so do this hashing algorithm really well. And it's kind of kind of how they run. Yeah, Latrell says stream was worth it just for the doggo, right? Yeah, Pip's a good little lap dog. It's a smaller breed, hypoallergenic, but then he rubs around in his own crap and like whatever on the street and stuff. It smells like motor oil half the time, and chases after bigger dogs. It's like he has no sense of self-preservation or hygiene. But whatever, he's a dog, right? Can't complain. It's just how they are. So yeah, it looks like the F2 is not that great. The F1 Ultra is the top of the line right now. But yeah, F2, a couple $100 less. You can still pre-order these, I guess. So that's kind of exciting. But yeah, you see these larger numbers. This is for anybody who didn't know about FPGA mining or wonders, like, why do we even cover that on the show? That's why. We cover it because it is a different hardware profile. I think that FPGA mining is going to have a good long life ahead of it, very similar to how I think that ASIC mining is going to as well, but it'll be for different reasons. You need to have these different bit streams coming out to tell the machines what kinds of coins they can mine. Paul chimes in and says, I've got a Mr. FPGA. You need to get the Game Boy SHA-256 miner running on it. Oh, that's funny. I don't even know. I don't know about the Game Boy SHA-256 miner, but SHA-256 I think would be very difficult to make competitive on an FPGA these days. It was very competitive for a short time in between the time that GPUs were mining SHA-256 and the time that ASICs came out, but I can't imagine it's all that profitable, but okay. I don't know much about it, but that doesn't sound like it's going to work out well. So yeah, Hash altcoin and this machine in particular, their Black Miner series, the F1 Ultra, and then all the others that you see here in the lineup, the F2 Square, the F1 Mini Plus, that one also was pretty hot for its time. Let's see. Oh, Host. They don't even ship it to you, this one. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, some of the other ones, they actually at least ship to you. But yeah, the F1 Mini Plus and the F1 Mini became really popular for a time. They run almost silently. They like sip electricity, hardly any at all. I think like 50 watts total they consume. They run from the wall with their own little custom device. They don't have to be, I don't think they have to be plugged into your computer. I don't think so. They've got their own little like ARM controller board. So they're a lot like an ASIC in that respect. They're very simple to use, relatively easy to service, and just like tuck into a closet or tuck into like a shed or something. If you have like ag power, if you're off grid or something, you have agricultural power. They're relatively easy to just like stick into like a barn or something, a lot like how people do with ASICs. But they mine a bunch of different coins. So you're not pigeonholed the way you would be with an ASIC. Pretty straightforward, right, guys? For anybody who didn't know, that's what it's all about. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call that a live stream. But before I let you go, because we covered most of the content, most of the topics for today, should I be breaking this up? I feel like this is too long for a live stream, and I feel like I cover way too many topics in the live stream. If I did break it up, how would you like to see it broken up? Would you like to see just mining-oriented content on one stream? Would you like to see news on another live stream? Would you like to see markets on a different live stream? You tell me, because that's kind of what I'm moving towards, I think, is that division of the content, those three things. So markets, mining, and then news. So it's just, they're kind of separated a little bit. I think that the news and the markets, they affect each other though. And I see mining being an important topic to cover because, guys, consensus algorithms are huge, as well as, privacy stuff too, guys. I think the privacy stuff we got to talk about separately. Privacy, custody, holding your own keys, hardware wallets, VPN routers, security phones. It's all separate content, I think. And I think I jump into these live streams and there's just too much going on in the live stream, I think. You tell me what you think, how you'd like to see this content structured, because the live stream is fun, and I do like being able to interact with you guys and chat and answer questions and stuff, but I know I've got to make a change here. I know that I do. And I'm also like really crunched for time lately, so being able to pre-record stuff might be better for my schedule too. Maybe. But leave me a like, thumbs up, share the video, leave a comment. Obviously, guys, you are the reason that I make this media. I love your face. And I will see you very, very soon. Remember to stay private, mind your biz. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. Remember to check out mineyourbiz, where you can sign up for Mine Your Biz Insiders, our occasional newsletter where we don't spam you, but we do send out occasional important information, including flash sales and important deals on privacy-preserving technology. This is one of the ways that we can talk to you without censorship and without the oversight of third-party media platforms. You can also check out the new Mine Your Biz phone, as well as merch, or sign up to become an affiliate for anything sold directly on the mineyourbiz website. You can earn a percentage of anything that we sell. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz.